The reason, the rhyme. 5 things that mean something to me and the reason why. This time, songs that immediately put me into a time and place in my life, aka the LA Freddie Lakers. Up next is the Beatles, I Am the Walrus. Now, the Beatles, obviously being the child of parents who were teenagers in Liverpool during the 60s, were omnipresent, permanently. But I Am the Walrus was the first of their songs that were a bit weird. You know, it wasn't loving you, yeah, yeah, yeahs and holding hands. It was very strange, but I loved it. And what it reminds me of is the first time I heard it, or the first time I became aware of it really. That was in 1980 on a DC-10, a Freddie Laker Airways DC-10 to Los Angeles. And I know what you're thinking, you were on a DC-10 in 1980 and you'd live to tell a tale. You didn't go into the ground like a dart. Twice, DC-10 there and back. And in the armrests, you put your headphones in and it was like a 4-track. And they had songs on there, and I Am the Walrus came on. And I remembered being absolutely blown away by it. The nonsense poetry of Edward Lear was in there. John Lennon was a huge fan, obviously. Just the weird noises, the weird sounds, the strange chord progression. It's everything I love now, and I didn't realise I loved until I listened to that song. And then, of course, I discovered that the Beatles wrote a lot of stuff like that, and I was hooked, which was nice. Yeah, 1980, Freddie Laker, DC-10, I Live to Tell the Tale. Up next is a band called Bourgeois Tag, and the song is called I Don't Mind At All. Now this reminds me, every time I hear it, it reminds me of, I think it was Long Beach in California, Los Angeles. It was at a marina, we were sat by the water and this song was playing in a cafe. I think Mum and Dad were having a beer. I was having my little glass of Coke or something, and this song was playing. Lights were bouncing off the water, there was lovely ships here, there and everywhere, gorgeous boats, it was absolutely stunning. And it was a song that me and my dad really liked. In fact, I think my mum did as well, to be honest with you, but just one of those things where it was exactly that song at that moment. If I've heard it ever since, it doesn't remind me of anything else. It is just that one place. Music has an amazing ability to do that. The same as smells. Smells and sounds, and you are transported back in time. It's absolutely incredible. But it's also a really good song. I've never learned to play it, and I should do really, shouldn't I? Once my hands start working again properly, I will do. Yeah, but I always thought it was just, I like it because it reminds me of LA 1988. It's not. I like it because it's also a really good song. Quite catchy. Give it a listen. Up next, Mystify by In Excess. Now this, again, Los Angeles 1988. I was only allowed a few cassettes on the way over on my Walkman, obviously. We were there for 3 weeks, I think it was, so we had to pack loads of clothes, not enough music. And while we were there, I was allowed to buy another cassette for on the way home especially. And I bought Kick by In Excess, which was fairly big at the time. I liked a couple of songs that I'd heard. I'd not heard everything off the album, but I listened to that album over and over again on the plane on the way home, so it reminds me of that plane, which was a KLM Boeing 747, all the way to Amsterdam, and then we got back to England from there. I always remember that, definitely. Up next, it's Chicken Out by Gomez. Gomez are a Southport band, a band that we should be very, very proud of in this town. One that doesn't quite get the credit they deserve. They were around sort of during that Britpop era, but never really fit into it. They had a bit more about them, I think. They should have been huge, they weren't, but those who know what a great band they are. And this song reminds me of being on the beach on Cayo Guillermo, which is a little island, little Cayo off the north coast of Cuba, back in February 2005. I had a little MP3 player, it was only about that big, and you could fit, I think there was something cheap like 10 albums on it. And one of the albums was this one. I can't remember what it was now. It'd only just come out, or I'd only just got it, or something like that. So I didn't know it well. I got to know it better on holiday. And as soon as I heard the start of it, the guitar kicking in, it reminds me of lying on the beach, really warm, white coral sand, palm trees, free ale, it was all inclusive, 5-star hotel, and that music, glorious. Such a relaxing holiday. And brilliant music. It's not really a relaxing song either, but it was. Love Gomez. You should too. Go and love Gomez. I dare you. Up next is Me and Sarah Jane by Genesis. And it's specifically the one from the Three Sides Live album. Right, this was Los Angeles 1988. I can't remember which albums I took with me, but that was one of them. And I listened to it constantly while I was there. But one day, we went into the mountains just outside of LA, and we had to go past Blue Jay Way, which George Harrison made famous for the Beatles. Yeah, so that Blue Jay Way. We drove up around there to a place called La Cañada, which is high up, overlooking Los Angeles, and it was gorgeous. The house we stayed in, went to see friends there, was absolutely stunning. It must have been worth millions of dollars even back then in 1988. You could look down, you could see LA, well, you could see a blanket of smog over LA, and then beyond that you could see the Queen Mary tied up in the marina. Absolutely amazing. It felt really relaxing until the person who owned the house said, yeah, just be careful of bears. I think, what? What do you mean, bears? Bears and cougars. Now please do not go and put that into a search engine. Don't Google that, because you'll end up with all kinds of stuff. But grizzly bears, not yogi, not teddy bears, proper full-on grizzly bears. So be careful. All right, yeah, will do. Sat on the deck, having a drink, glass of lemonade or something, looking down over LA. Absolutely stunning, and that music was playing in my ears. And as soon as I heard the first couple of bars to Me and Sarah Jane, I remember being there. It was a lovely trip. 88, I was 15 at the time, so I was old enough to really appreciate what we were doing. We went to Disneyland, went there as a 7-year-old, and it wasn't that good. I went as a 15-year-old, 6'4", and basically an adult, and I loved it. Absolutely loved it. It's worth it, it's worth going to somewhere like that as an adult. Don't take your kids to spoil it. But yeah, absolutely amazing. That album, Dodo reminds me of that place as well, but Me and Sarah Jane in particular, and it's still a song I really like, despite the fact that Peter Gabriel had left at that point. They still did some good stuff after him, but we won't go into the later Genesis, otherwise I'll get demonetized because I absolutely despise what they became. But yeah, Me and Sarah Jane by Genesis. So there you go. There's my 5 things that mean something to me and the reasons why. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like that 5, why not check out these next? Or even these?